Hey, Idaho Lions fans, welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. This is episode 341. This is the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your ever-dashing host, Chris, Mr. Peloton rider now, and I'm with my very good friend and co-host, Jeff, the Riz Risden. How are you doing, brother? Great to see you again.
It is good to be back with you in the post-draft aftermath and
Afterglow.
I'm not riding the afterglow. I am not a Peloton person. I actually just got back from the gym. So.
Good for you. Good for you.
You probably worked harder on it than I did. So.
I have. Well, it feels like it. I'll tell you that much. I got a heck of a deal. I got to tell you. I hit the local neighborhood, and I'm in a decent neighborhood. The lady had bought it. She had it for 2 months, and like everyone who buys exercise equipment, right? You get it, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want it anymore." I got it for less than half price, and it is brand spanking new.
That's
awesome.
that's a score, my friend.
Yes,
that's very good.
Yes, I'm living the Wisco life. All right, look, got a lot to do in today's show, a lot to talk about. We're going to react to the Detroit Lions schedule release. We're going to walk the games. We're going to give you our predictions on each one and get you with the too early end of season prediction for how the Lions will do. We're going to talk about our favorite subreddit, our Detroit Lions. It hit 100,000 subscribers. Good for those guys. Good for us. Also, Frank Ragnow had a great presser. We want to cover that. It was a couple days, but we got to get that in there. And Penei Sewell has the plague. We got that and a whole lot more. Great show lined up. Riz, are you ready to go, my man?
Oh, let's do it.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
All right. You know how we do these days. We'll get right into it. The NFL, you may have heard of them. They released the schedule, and they happened to include the Detroit Lions when they released it. They didn't forget about our boys this time. And reaction, before we get into the games individually, react, Riz. What do you think? I mean, what's your overall take on the schedule and how it played out?
Just thank God that the schedule ordeal is over. Oh, my God. The NFL beats the crap out of that. We already knew everybody that they were going to play. We just didn't know when they were going to play them. We knew where we knew the home games, we knew the road games. We just didn't know the sequence.
Yeah.
For people that don't go to games, who cares? I mean, now, if you're going to a game, or if you're in my case and you're going to be covering the games, it absolutely makes you need to know. If you're planning a road trip or something like that, which a lot of fans do, you need to know these things. But if you're just a fan that's going to watch the games every weekend, my God, it's such overkill. A 2-hour primetime special filled with leaks throughout the day on different media partners. Oh, my God, it was insane.
Well, I mean, if you're planning it, though, remember, Tony Ortiz, and you may remember him telling this story.
Green Bay, little old ladies, bratwurst cart outside of the radio studio.
Tony Ortiz warns us at US Bank Stadium to be aware that wind, that breeze in the stadium is bitter cold in the winter. So you may want to plan around that.
Remember, Kyle Mikey went on the IR a couple of years ago at Green
Bay
too,
yeah,
falling in the parking lot. So yeah, there are perils that go along with it. But I don't want to be hypocritical because I got a lot of content out of it and it got a lot of eyeballs on it, and I'm grateful for that. But my God, the NFL making a massive event out of a schedule release is
it's overkill. I mean, that tells you how little there is going right now, and they're trying to ride the wave of that draft.
It's just I think back to the Scorpions' worst album from the late 80s, where they had the song Media Overkill on it. Satellites transmit the latest thrill. We can't escape the media overkill. And the NFL embraces that with a vigorous passion, and it bothers me a lot.
And we all know, even though you got all those eyeballs, those weren't the ones you were looking for. All right.
No. I'll take your clicks. I'm not going to complain about that. But it's honestly, it's fun content I got to go through today. And I got to, write down which games I think they're going to win, which ones I think they're going to lose, which ones are the most entertaining, things like that. It is kind of fun to do that.
Yeah, and we're going to do that for you guys.
We're going to do it on here tonight, too. Yeah. You will find that if you have read my article at LionsWire and you watch this tonight, one of my game predictions has changed throughout the course of the day. Just because that's the fickle nature of picking games that are going to be played in November and December in May.
Yeah, because we already know that everybody's going to be healthy and all that stuff and play up to what we prescribe from. Okay, so before we get started, I think we want to talk about the bye week. Let's just start in the middle, which thankfully it's in the middle. Week 9 bye week. Love this. I absolutely love this.
This is good. Yes. It's great timing to get it. It's not too early. I despise the week 4. So I don't think the NFL actually did any buys before week 5, I want to say, this year. I think the first one started in week 6. And most of them are geared later in the season. And I think that some of that is an extension of going to 18 weeks now. Yes, there is a week 18. There are 17 games. That's going to take a lot of getting used to. How many times are we going to stumble on that, Chris? That's not going to be fun.
Never. It's like saying names. I've got this cold. Don't you worry. It's great. I love the way the bye week falls. It's good for this team. Obviously, there was no golf pipe with schedule makers, so that's good. I do want to tell you though, with the bye week, there is something that is a big deal, and that it lays our schedule out right now because of how that falls. Friday, November 5th. And that seems a long way away, but if the NFL can do this, we can too. Friday, November 5th, starting at 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. on November 6th will be our annual St. Jude fundraiser. It is going to be giant this year. This is the most planning time we've had for this since any of them, right? This is going to be bigger. This will be better. This is going to be crazy town. The beans will be back for sure. That was a big hit. But we've got a lot of other stuff going on. I think you guys are going to be surprised. I think you're going to be surprised in the next month and a half of what we have and who we have going on.
We got a couple of neat things coming up for all y'all.
Yeah, Riz brought so much credibility. It's the one thing we always lacked. And class. Class.
Yeah, really.
And looks.
My knockoff light beer.
And I guess I could keep going. All right, let's kick this off. Let's get into the schedule. We start off in the bowels of San Francisco, right? Oh no, this is at Ford Field. This is at home.
No, we're in a different bowels. We're in the bowels of Ford Field.
The bowels of Ford Field.
I've been in the bowels of Ford Field.
As have I.
Not a fun place to be.
No, it lives up to the scent lives up to the name.
It really does. For a 20-year-old stadium, it's surprisingly bowely.
Opening weekend, 1 p.m. September 12th, we play the San Francisco 49ers at home. My friends, if we're going to play the 49ers and we're going to play them, we're going to get them at home and we're going to get them in week 1. That gives us the very, very best chance I think we have against that team. Riz, week 1 is always it's.
You never know what's going to happen in week 1. I've said this a couple times now. Last year, Jacksonville punked Indianapolis in week 1. The score, they wound up winning by a touchdown, but the game wasn't as close as the final score would indicate. It was the only game the Jaguars won all year, and it cost the Colts a home playoff game by losing that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's fool's gold to bet your season on that, but hey, if the Lions win, I'm taking it. I feel like
I will absolutely take it. And remember, this is a San Francisco team that's in transition.
With a rookie quarterback.
They were a last place team last year after going to the Super Bowl the year before. Now, a lot of that was injury related. But who's going to be their quarterback? Is Trey Lance going to be there over Jimmy G at that point? Is Jimmy G going to be healthy? Are any of the 15 other regulars who they have on that team who are always hurt going to be healthy coming out of the preseason? Who knows? But I agree with you. This is the best time to play that team. The only better time would be if they were coming off of a Monday night game and then traveling on the road. But we're not that lucky.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you. So look, let me ask you this really fast about San Francisco before we get into predictions here. Which one do you think was more real? The Super Bowl or the last place, San Francisco? Because one of those was a fluke.
I think that last year was the more real team. I think they got a little bit lucky going to the Super Bowl the way that they did the year before. I don't think they're bad, but I've already pegged this. I think they are the best last place team in the league.
That's right.
That is a brutal division. I think Arizona got better. I think the Rams. We'll talk about the Rams. And the Seahawks, as long as they have Russell Wilson, are going to be better because they have a better quarterback than the 49ers do, and they have a better coach than the 49ers do. I don't always like Pete Carroll, but the guy can freaking coach, man. So it's a tough battle for them. they are a great litmus test for the Lions' thesis of building your lines and spending an inordinate amount of draft capital on your offensive and defensive lines, and ignoring your skill position players and seeing what happens with it.
But they got Debo. They do have Debo. They have Debo. I love Debo.
Until he gets hurt.
I love. You know how much I loved him at the Senior Bowl.
Yes, I did too.
Yeah.
He was a fun watch, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right.
I worry about them being so heavily reliant on so many guys that have so many injury histories.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a perilous way to go about things. I also worry that their offense is incredibly scheme driven, and I think that the league is catching up to what Schottenheimer and that particular scheme are trying to do.
That's we'll talk about the Rams, but I think that there's a very common thread there. All right, let's get into this. Let's talk about predictions for Week 1 in the bowels of Ford Field. San Francisco 49ers. What are you feeling like, Jeff? How do you think they're going to do? Is it a win or a loss for the Lions?
I got a win. I think they're going to pull off the surprise win. What about you?
Same thing. God, I don't know. I felt like I talked you into it, but I know I didn't.
No,
I know you already had it.
No, I'm there on it. I think so. If you're a gambler, if you like to get a little action on it, I think that the line is 7.5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
It might actually go up. So I would wait to throw some money down on that because I think the money is going to go in on San Francisco early.
Yep.
If you can get that game up at 9.5, maybe tease it up to 10 on a parlay or something like that. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. That's a game. Look, I mean, and that's exactly what it is. It's a gambler's game, right? Because it is the first week, and they've got a rookie quarterback. And if Jimmy G's there, he probably won't walk out healthy. I mean, there's probably still going to see the rookie in the game. This is a great. The Lions have everything in their favor this time. I'm a Lions in Week 1 with a win, and we're going to have unrealistic expectations from hence that onward.
Yeah, baby.
All right, let's move into the next week. Monday night game, 8:15 in the frozen, it's the slightly muddy tundra of Lambeau Field with a Green Bay team led by Blake Bortles, the fearsome quarterback.
Can you imagine if they go through with getting rid of Rodgers, and we don't know what they're going to do with Rodgers yet. It sure seems like he won't be there.
Everyone says he's not coming back. Everybody says it.
But if they do this and they don't start Jordan Love, Brian Gutekunst might as well just swim home with cinder blocks into the lake because you have blown away the empire for that.
So let's just talk about this. My Green Bay games are the Green Bay team minus Aaron Rodgers. That's how I'm putting this year because everything. I mean, Eisen, McAfee, everybody says with all the people that know Aaron Rodgers, he's gone, he's done, he doesn't care, and I believe it. I honestly believe it. I think having that information come out on draft day, right,
so weird.
It's because Aaron Rodgers, his family still hates him, and I think it's probably because he hates them. He can carry a grudge. Everyone says this guy can carry a grudge. Yeah. Jordan Love getting picked, and I've got to capture that clip of me laughing at that pick because it was just absolutely, uncontrolled laughter. I think that moment he started the plot. I really do think that he started the plot, and he knew doing it on draft day would do the absolute most damage. And what does he care? 11 million, 2 years. He's got enough money. He's going to make way more than that. If he wants to go to TV, he'll make way more than that. And he's already shown he can do it with Jeopardy, right?
He was good on Jeopardy. He can do the holy moly thing like Steph Curry has done or something like that.
Yeah. Trebek made, I think, $10 million a year in his last years of doing it. So figure he signs for 6. We'll just say, right? He signs for 6 to start out doing it. That's a heck of a pension. That's a heck of a pension.
They also only work like 40 days a year at Jeopardy.
Yeah.
And there's a little secret on that.
And he's going to be popping on some Nikes or whatever while he's on the show. Get that endorsement deal for another $90 million. No, I think he'll be fine.
Isn't he getting married to that actress? I can't think of her name.
I forget.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really do.
I don't. I lived
movies,
there,
so
and I didn't care. I think I might have annoyed some of them.
She was in one of those dystopian movies that I turned off after 5 minutes because I'm not a dystopian person.
Yeah, you're a very very positive guy. All right, so Green Bay, I'm going to say sans Aaron Rodgers. Let's start there. What's your prediction? Does he stay with the team? Does he start with the Green Bay Packers next year or not? Because we can play these out differently based on our assumptions.
I don't think he's going to be there. I don't know that, but I don't expect him to be there at this point. No, I think he's either going to be in Las Vegas or Denver.
So you're looking at Jordan Love with his first Monday night game. By the way, NFL, I'm glad Aaron Rodgers is gone. I'm just going there because you gave the Packers every one of their divisional home games on Monday night. That's pretty cheesy, and that's not a pun that's intended, by the way. That's a pretty.
I just got the pun. Oh my God, I'm slow.
I didn't even mean it. It's a pretty slime job deal there. Come on, NFL. What in the world? That's three Monday night games that the Packers are getting, and they're all division. It's like, come on, and home games. Was the jersey sales flagging? You're trying to pump up Jordan Love sales? Who knows? Whatever. All right, so we're facing Jordan Love or Blake Bortles in Green Bay on the 20th on Monday night. What are you calling, my friend?
Still playing the Packers defense. Their defense is still a problem. We like to focus on the other side of the ball. They have some guys on that defense that are a problem. Jair Alexander, Preston Smith, the way he's used. This is Darius Smith. The big guys up front, Clark and those guys, they're going to be tough to score on. They are a team that wants you to try to throw the ball to beat them. What do we know about this Lions team? That's probably the last way they're going to be successful is throwing the ball around a lot. I don't like it. I don't like the matchup. I think without Rodgers, it will be a close game. And then there's always the angle of the officials getting involved in some way or another. What will it be? Will it be a illegal hands to the face that didn't exist? Will it be an untimed down? Will it be, all of a sudden you are allowed to, in fact, throw the ball through the goalposts or get a point for kicking through the goalposts on a kickoff? It's some obscure rule. They'll drop kick it or something like that we'll get burned on, or it'll be another 10-second runoff with 9 seconds to go. When the review shows that a touchdown that was called on the field isn't, in fact, a touchdown, the NFL still has to change that rule. I will never not die on that hill. That's my way of not talking about losing to the Packers.
Okay, I'll put them down for now. All right, so this is going to be my probably my craziest prediction of all of them. I'm gonna go for a win because those lines, like you said, that defensive line is strong, but our offensive line is stronger. The effort, the guys we have, the young guys, the power, the strength, everything else we put there, and with Hank Fraley, no, that's his Clark Kent persona. Hank Fraley at the helm of that line, I see great things coming, and the running game will be okay. It'll be probably a lot of Lions fans will be disappointed, not really recognizing how good the defensive front is in Green Bay. But I think we eke one out because Jared Goff gets some quick passes out to Hawk and some other folks, while the other guys are running deep trying to cover the top. So I think we eke one out in Green Bay on Monday night. And the storyline here is, and this is not just fandom, but the storyline here is this is the beginning of the disintegration of the Green Bay Packers franchise. They always start slow, but that's going to be the start. This is going to be the game. They lose at home on Monday night to Detroit.
Is enough to get LaFleur fired and Gutekunst gone
by the end of the year for sure, right? Because if they don't turn it around, and I don't think they can, and you've got a Detroit Lions team who's everyone's thinking is the doormat. Right, but there's a different sense. Even Ragnow was saying it in his presser. We'll talk about that later. There's a different sense of what's going on here, and I think you're seeing the passing of two ships in the night, closer to one side of the top and bottom than the other. But it's a precipitous fall for the Green Bay Packers. So that's where I'm at. All right, there we go. We're going to move on. Game 3, Baltimore Ravens, September 26th. At home, which is where I'd like to see the Ravens. I'll never forget Tony Siragusa in the end zone, given the crappy deal about the piano playing to Joey Harrington. I will never forget that game. I've hated Tony Siragusa ever since then because it's like, look, Joey Harrington has so many problems already. This is just piling on. This is weak, quote unquote, journalism. This is Carlos Meneres level stuff. versus and
we're sort of slack bot when we need it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna really quick. I got to call this out. I'm sorry. It happened in the Ragnow interview, right? This is the difference between a great beat reporter, and a total, like, not even a troll, right? But somebody who's just bad at their job. When you saw Frank in the beginning of the, his opening statements break up a little bit when he was talking about his dad, Justin Rogers, and said, I heard you break up about your dad. We know how important he is to you. We know how much he means to you. Tell us a little bit more about that. Tell us, where you're at, right? And I'm paraphrasing, obviously. And you got a great response from Frank. You got real information. You got a real sense of what was going on there, the emotion and so on. The question that would have been asked by someone from Carlos, and I don't think I'm exaggerating here, okay? I don't think I'm exaggerating here, would have been, we saw you almost cry at the beginning of the conference. Do you think you're strong enough and tough enough to play center in an NFL football team? Because that's what he does. He asks that kind of question phrased in that way. And it's not just clickbait. It's an absolute lack of talent and inability. He's getting away from the story. He's trying to create a story that isn't there rather than actually being talented and getting the actual story from the player. He's generating one. He's making the news about him versus it.
Oh, my God.
That is the massive juxtaposition between one of the very, very best beat reporters we've got and Carlos, who's not just an idiot who's hitting for clicks. He's actually an idiot. Sorry. Okay.
So let's finish the Ragnow talk now, since we're into it now.
All right.
Because I was in on the press conference. Sorry, I'm pulling executive order here.
No, it's good. I'm just stretching my neck out because the whole Carlos thing.
So you're all in a tizzy. So Justin read the room very well. Like, all of us all of us who were in on the call. We're like, okay, that you got to ask that. And I thought the way that Justin asked it was appropriate. I thought that the questions that followed up after it, other than I believe it was Mikey, and I want to give him credit, right, because he asked about Ragnow's mom.
Right.
I think that's
Mikey.
That's a valid
Kyle.
place.
Kyle took the other side. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a valid place to take that conversation because his mom is still with us and is still a very big part of his life.
Very close.
I thought that was really cool. I thought that there was a little bit too much of the knife digging in,
trying to pull it, unnatural, very unnatural, kind of trying to get. Maybe I could make him cry, right? I mean, now, right. It was about the person asking the question,
and that wasn't reading the room, because there were people that were on that call, and on the Zoom we can all see one another. Mm-hmm. There were people that were rolling their eyes a little bit at the ongoing line of questioning there. So, I know I went on Reddit after that. I went to the subreddit and saw that a lot of people were pretty upset about that, and I think it came up in our Patreon Slack as well. Like, my God, just enough. A lot of us that were in on the call felt that way too. It was steered that way by a couple of people that didn't read the room well. And I was proud of Kyle for steering it back. And a couple other people asked. Eric from ESPN asked a really good question.
Yep. He's doing a great job, by the way.
ESPN I really like him. He's doing a really good job.
They made a great move.
Yes, they did. Nothing but positive things to say about
Children
Eric.
are out to play again in Allen Park. It's interesting that you're absolutely right, and we don't talk enough about Kyle on the show and what a good job he does. You know what I mean? Because look, Team Justin, Team Kyle, that's a thing. They set it up. You got to pick one or the other, right? But Kyle absolutely did a fabulous job at asking the questions here and there, right? And he's been doing. Kyle does, when he does his pieces, his kind of human interest side pieces, they're so fabulous. He is a naturally gifted writer.
Absolutely.
I mean, gosh. And Justin, his thing, you heard him. He's had the conversations before with Frank, not just asking about his dad because he cried there, but he's had questions. He's got a relationship and an ongoing conversation with him. So it wasn't just like, I'm trying to pull something out here, make it about me. He was continuing a conversation that they've had where everyone else is just trying to plant a flag and make a name. So good deal for Frank signing the giant contract. Good deal. He got to go up north, try to beat his record. I haven't heard if he got himself a nice small mouth or not.
I actually haven't heard that either. He needs to get I have heard he will be in Allen Park this weekend. It's rookie minicamp. this weekend. The rookies will all be there, as far as we've been told.
Yep.
We do have access to them on Sunday. I am planning on getting out there. I don't know if it'll happen or not, depending on a couple of different things. One is in my control, and one is not in my control. But if he's there for that, he will certainly get asked that as soon as he gets back into things. So
I got one more point.
The Lions are planning on having the players in Allen Park this weekend.
Yep. Good. I got one more point before we get to the Ravens. Just a quick comment I made on Twitter a couple months ago. The nicest thing the Detroit media has ever done for Lions fans is put Carlos behind a paywall.
You've had enough of that shit.
There we go. All right. All right.
Perfect drop, coach.
Baltimore Ravens, September 26th at home. No Tony Sirigusa in the end zone, please. What do you think, Riz? This is an interesting game.
This is a bad loss. This is a tough one. It takes time to adjust for what Baltimore does, and there's the whole mantra that Lamar Jackson, he's going to run. It's RPOs all day. The dude actually throws a really good ball. I think that gets lost a lot.
It's a pretty hot ball. I mean, he's got a pretty good arm for a guy that runs all the time.
And I tell you what, them getting Rashad Bateman is a perfect fit for them. That's probably my favorite pick in the draft for that first round, because he had the worst wide receiving core outside of a couple places last year, but I mean they were bad. And the biggest thing was Marquise Brown. He's 5'6", he's got 5'8", he's got tiny arms, he has no catch radius. Lamar has to literally make a perfect throw every time so that guy has a shot to catch it. And he drops the ball a lot too. And that was his best receiver. They finally got him a really good guy who can extend and make catches away from his body. Lamar's going to be good, folks.
Yep.
And that's a good football team. Their defense is not as good as it has been in recent years, and their offensive line is a little bit vulnerable. But this Lions team is not keeping up with that Ravens team.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, now, John Paul Morrison in the chat, I agree 100%. Tavai shows off his leaner body, spies Jackson, keeps him to less than 20 yards rushing, but they still beat us. I don't know about that storyline. I'll go with it because it's a nice way to go. But
the other thing you got to remember, remember the Monday night game, Justin Tucker with the bomb.
Yeah.
Guy's the best kicker in NFL history, not named Jason Hanson.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry. The chat's going. We've got a good one. Mike Hodges, who's always got good stuff. The Ravens game will show us where Derek Barnes is or can be. I'm going to take that a little bit differently, Mike. I'm going to tell you that Derek Barnes isn't ready for Lamar Jackson, and he's going to be made to look really, really bad. You're putting a rookie in a lower round pick, later round pick, in a really bad situation against a damn good NFL football player. I would not judge Barnes by this game by any stretch of the imagination. To do so is premature and unfair. Just my take. Yeah. I'm not ripping on you, but
I'm hoping that we'll get some positive minutes from Barnes in that game, though.
Yeah. Oh, I don't disagree. That mismatch to me, that's a massive mismatch because he's just too young. It's game 3 of his rookie year.
It's tough. Yeah, especially if he's playing Mike. He's only played Mike for 1 year. That's asking a whole heck of a lot. This is a game, by the way. You beat the Ravens by having good safety play. What's the worst position group on the Lions?
Wide receiver followed by safety. It's safety. You're right. Oh God, yeah. Those are two acres.
Very bad matchup. This one when I was going through and doing all the games. This one was easy. L.
Yeah. Yep. I would say this is going to be a good learning experience. I would like to see Barnes with a mind like a cornerback, Mike, meaning he forgets about it afterwards and just maybe watches film where he can get better. Don't let it. This is the kind of thing that can break a weaker mind, and I just hope that doesn't happen to him. All right, moving on up.
He'll be good. I'm bullish on Barnes, as we talked about last week with Dan.
Yeah,
Dan Shanka.
Yeah.
I'm just bullish on him too.
Yeah. I'm to be honest, I'm bullish on Tracy Walker. I just don't know who the hell else around him is going to do anything.
Yeah, same here.
Safety problem.
We'll see.
All right, week 4 or the 4th game of the season. We've got October 3rd, the Chicago Bears at Chicago.
Bears.
It's going to be, it's October 3rd. It's still warm. There's no big weather game here to deal with. What do you think? Does Justin Fields play? I'll ask you that first.
I don't think he's in at that point because, and part of the reason is that they have two guys ahead of him, not just one. Now, maybe that will resolve itself. Maybe Foles goes away this summer. There's a lot of people in Chicago who would like that to happen sooner than later. We'll see how that goes. I don't think he gets into this game unless they're in a lot of trouble and they're in grip mode and they're 0-3. And they're like, to hell with this. We know everybody's going out. Let's see what we got. And they make him play them.
Yep. Yeah.
And so looking at Chicago's early schedule, they could be 0-3. They could also be 3-0. So they're one of those teams that you really don't know what you're getting. They are a rough matchup. And this is what I'll paraphrase what I wrote in LionsWire because it came to me pretty naturally on this. Better or worse Bears defenses than the one that they have this year have locked down better Lions offenses than the one that the Lions are taking to Chicago this year.
Now, but
now some of that was Patricia. Patricia was an absolute nightmare matchup against the Bears.
Right.
There's no question about that.
Yeah.
That's why Mitchell Trubisky earned a lot of money playing Detroit. But look, I know it's fashionable for Lions fans and specifically our listener base here to rip on the Bears. They did make the playoffs last year and they did get better. I mean,
yeah. I think this year will probably be peak Bears, and then I think it's going to fall apart just because of cap contracts, everything else. I think this is where they're going to be at their very best.
Yes,
that being the case, I think they still have a giant question mark at quarterback. There's a reason Justin Fields fell that far. The NFL knows. They know far more than draft nicks and Twitter draft Twitter. There's a reason he went there, and there's a lot of people I'm hearing say that the Bears may have spent a lot more capital than they should have.
I disagree on that. I see the Deshaun Watson situation, obviously taking away what's happening with Deshaun now. But this to me was a Deshaun Watson move where they moved up and they got it. And Houston went from quarterback purgatory, holding back a team that was ready to win a Super Bowl, to a legitimate Super Bowl contender overnight by getting their quarterback. I think Fields can do that for them. I absolutely do.
He better do it quick. That's all I have to say.
Yes, he will need to do it quick because that defense is getting old and they are not nearly as deep as they have been on that side of the ball.
And I think we can hold off the line like we haven't, but I am still marking this as a loss, as are you. As much as I want to, I'd love to. So for the savvy listener who read the LionsWire piece I did before it, I put this down as a W in that. I'm changing this one to an L. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, no, I just it's away. Number one, I love being away early in Chicago, right? I love and Green Bay.
We almost always play there early.
Yeah.
So my birthday is I'm born in September. Usually the Bears game in Chicago is right around my birthday. In fact, I've been to the game on my birthday twice there.
The Calvin catch was there. The Calvin catch was there early in the season.
Yes, it was. Yeah. I was not at that game.
Thank God, that's still burned in my soul.
Oh, I hate that.
All right, week 5, and we are now into the last of the away games in the division, which is interesting. We play a lot,
and that was something that I wanted to talk about was how we get rid of all 3 of the first 5 games are divisional road games. That is getting your medicine early.
That's I've heard some folks saying it's good. I've heard some folks saying it's bad. Here's where it kind of bothers me. Young, first year coach, young. Yeah. All the coordinators, so many player coordinators that are kind of young for what they do.
Rookies at what they're doing.
Yeah. I don't like to give away the division that early. That's basically where my head's at, and I may have given away my prediction here for the next game.
But that's okay because I would counter that if you win one of these games, what an emotional lift that will be because it is going to be unexpected because they're going to be at least touchdown underdogs in all 3 of those games.
Yeah. And again, without Aaron Rodgers, that Green Bay game is, I think, completely winnable. And if that's the one they win, I got to put asterisks next to these other 2, right? But we're here with Minnesota in Minnesota on October 10th. No cold wind when they open the door. Thank you, Tony Ortiz. I'm putting that down as an L. Riz, what do you got?
I got an L for that one too. They are. I know, again, it's fashionable to bag on Kirk Cousins a lot. It's fashionable to bag on them.
You just want him to be your neighbor. You just want him to be your neighbor after he retires and not hate you. Can I mow your lawn, Kirk?
Back that way. Back that way somewhere. Actually, yeah, no. Actually, it's that way. So yeah, I'm facing. Yeah, he lives west of me. That's east behind me.
Got it.
Still, yeah. There's logistics of my wife's office for you all that I'm sure you care about. They have weaponry that I think is a problem. I think Thielen, Justin Jefferson is coming off one of the greatest wide receiver seasons for any rookie in NFL history. I think that gets lost on a lot of people. They made a move today. They quietly traded away Mike Hughes to the Kansas City Chiefs, a first-round cornerback from a couple of years ago. They effectively gave him away. They gave Hughes and a 7th rounder for a 6th rounder, which is, basically, hey, don't go away, Matt, just go away. That's a popular move in their locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say how I know that, but it's going to be very well received in the Minnesota locker room that they're addition by subtraction there. And I think they're realizing that they need to do a little bit more of that, maybe. And that's a good sign if you're a Vikings fan. It's a bad sign if you're a Lions fan hoping to catch them and get out of the cellar in the NFC North.
Yeah.
So this is a loss for me.
I really just need them to draft more Laquan Treadwells. If I could get that out of Minnesota, I'd be a happy guy. Like 4 rounds, first 4 rounds worth. Yeah.
You know how much crap I took for not liking Laquan Treadwell in that draft? I got slammed.
Yeah,
how can
remember.
You like Michael Thomas more than Laquan Treadwell? I don't know. I watched the film. I didn't buy into the hype. When the first thing you say about a wide receiver is that he's a dominant blocker, probably not going to be a great NFL wide receiver.
Oh man! All right, so we got our L's there. I've got it. You got
the W on Laquan.
You got us
the L with the game.
You got us 1 and 5. I got us 2 and 4. Sorry,
no,
you got us 1 and 4. I got us 2 and 5, 2 and 3.
2 and 3. Yeah,
I'm having trouble.
My math skills aren't that shaky.
Yeah, well, everything's shaky here. All right, really quick. Hey, you guys, while you're watching, please go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you can. But the like button's really important. It helps us out a lot with the the YouTube algorithm, all that stuff, how this thing works. If you hit the like, if you got it in you, hit a subscribe too. We don't usually hit you guys with that, but that really does help us out. Subscribe, the bell, and the like
Plus,
button.
you'll know when we're coming, and that's always important.
in the most positive way possible. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Don't usually do those breaks, but we try to just do entertainment.
Yeah. Now we get Cincinnati.
Yes, home though. We are back in Detroit, so we are now. What is it? This is 6 games in. Game 6. Home for 3, away for 3. That's a good split. It feels like the first and the 6th, they're both home. So it feels like there's a lot of away stuff in the middle there. But we're home with the Bengals. Yeah. We feel like we've got a little bit of Chase. We got a little bit of Burrow. Is he's going to be back, right? There's no question he's going to be back and playing.
Yeah,
Joey.
He will be back. He will be back by that point.
Yeah.
And I will carve to it. I'm a Joe Burrow fan. I like the guy a lot.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a good kid.
And I'm rooting for him to get back and to be really good. I know that runs counter to a lot of people. Aren't you from Cleveland? Yeah, I am. I like Joe Burrow. Sue me.
No, I like Joe Burrow too, and you know how it is. There's guys around the league that you like, and like Matthew Stafford's a great example. Now he's a guy that I like absolutely. I would never like him at the expense of the Lions. Whenever he faces the Lions, I hope he loses. But any other game, I'd be happy to see him win. Except the comp picks, they aren't as meaningful to me though. I whatever is better for the Lions is what I want. But I really like Matthew Stafford. I wish the best for him. All right, Bengals are here. They're a crazy team. It's only October. They've been practicing outside since 1935.
1966 was when they came into existence.
But it feels like 35 because that's from when the equipment was built. They bought it used when they built the place. One of the highest spending teams in the league. I feel like we can beat the Bengals. Even with Joe and Chase, I really feel like this is going to be a win for the Lions. A home.
I do too.
After a couple tough away games.
And I'll tell you, this is where the investment on day 2 and Levi Onwuzurike and especially Ali McNeil are going to be a big problem for the theory that the Bengals are testing of taking the wide receiver to help your quarterback instead of taking the offensive tackle to help your quarterback.
Absolutely.
This is a game where the Lions' defensive front six, front seven, however you want to call it, can dominate a team, and I think they will. It wouldn't shock me if they held the Bengals to 2 scores in this game.
Circle this game in the letter D for defense, because this is where those 2 picks that and I admit it, I absolutely will, and I will cop to it. Riz has done this in the beginning, and I've seen it, and it's the best way to go. We've always tried to be this way, but cop to your mistakes, right? I don't know if it was a mistake, but I was confused at the strategy after day 2 for the Lions draft. I was like, what in the world are we thinking? Seeing it play out, seeing what they did, I get it. It was great. It was absolutely fabulous. But in that moment, I was stunned at the 2 D-line picks there in 2 and 3.
A lot of us were.
Yeah.
It was tough to process when, my God, look at our wide receiver room. Look at our safety room. Look at our off-ball linebackers. We got 1.5, 2 of them. I mean, we don't have a great pass rush. We don't have a right guard that is here for the future. There's a lot of other areas they chose to emphasize this. This is the kind of game where you're going to see that payoff. But the flip side of that, if they don't pay off in games like this, it's really not going to look good.
And this is exactly it, that you circle this with that D, because that's what you're watching. And if they don't pay off, if that defense doesn't perform, that's where I think the day 2, day 3 draft strategy of this front office, that's where the real questions hit. Absolutely, that's the one, because this should be a dominating game for them. No questions asked.
Just something else to consider. This game is right before the NFL trade deadline. Let's say the Lions are where we think they are, and with either 1 or 2 wins, it's pretty clear that they're not going to be competing for a playoff berth at that point. You've got guys like Trey Flowers, Jamie Collins, guys who are not going to be here in 2023, 2024, when this team is expecting to be a contender. Do they sell them off at this point to make room for more playing time for Onwuzurike? Onwuzurike, I'm dyslexic on that. And playing, playing the youngsters more. Derek Barnes getting ample playing time instead of Jamie Collins. You're going to see things like that. Or do they spotlight, like, hey Trey, go out and get 3 sacks today, then we'll trade you to New England where you want to be. That's the type of dynamic that's going to happen around this time, if this team is not competitive or not realistically competing for a playoff berth. And I think most of us would agree that that's probably where they're going to be. This is the time of year where you're going to see that play out a lot.
And I see this team going in, again, I see us going in 2 and 3 into this game with a very confident front office saying we can win this one. And we walk out 3 and 3, and that's what I have them as, right? You have them as 2 and 4. I have them as 3 and 3. 3 and 3 is still in contention, absolutely, right? And I'm not. I don't want to put any illusions up. I don't want people to start thinking that, oh, he's saying they're going to contend or anything. That's not what I'm saying. But if they're 3 and 3 at this point, they are still in the game, and they're more in the game than any of the Patricia teams ever were. All right, I want to hit what.
Well, that one Patricia team was 3 and 3. No, they were 2, 3 and 1, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then they went 3, 12 and 1.
So we've got John Paul Morrison. He says, I see this team as being better than its pieces. Emotion, grit, and desire can help a team get better faster. I feel this team is a 2-win streak away from pushing for the playoffs. Now, I agree with everything except the last 4 words, the pushing for the playoffs piece. I think this team is exactly what you said, John Paul, except I just don't see them quite being able to get to the playoffs. I see them pushing for an 8-8 season with a 2-win streak. I think that you're right. The sum total is more than its parts. And as a group, again, if you listen to what Ragnow said, if you listen to what he said about the team and the attitude and how things are different than they've ever been, right? He's got a sense of a change, and there's something building, and that's what the coaches in the front office and everyone's counting on is the heart of these guys and the way they play ball. We haven't had a team made up of these kinds of guys in Detroit in about as many years as I can remember. So it's they talk about the 12th man. This is, I don't want to say it's a 13th man because gosh, we're going to talk about some unlucky stuff later. But this is what I'm referring to. This is an intangible, right? This is an intangible that this team is going to bring. Playoffs, I don't know that that's where we're at. But I guess 8-9 instead of 8-8. I forget. You see, you were right. It tripped me up already.
It's awkward.
I see that 2-win streak being something that really drives these guys forward in the right spot. But I just don't see this team making the playoffs. Riz, tell me I've been on the CBD again.
They are much closer to getting a top 3 draft pick than they are to making the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's and some of that is looking around at what the rest of the league and specifically the NFC. There's some good teams. I think the 3 best teams in the NFL are all in the AFC. But there's a cluster after. Well, Tampa Bay obviously won the championship. They're bringing everybody back, so I probably need to include them in that as well. But they're really good. I don't want to be seen as disparaging the Buccaneers, and they will probably be my pick to represent the NFC again. But the NFC West has 4 teams that I can make an argument all can make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I just poo-pooed the 49ers, but I could also be wrong, and they could be the team that represented the Super Bowl. The conference of the Super Bowl the year before. They're
a wild card for sure. I mean, and I don't mean in a playoff spot, right? They're a wild card as a team.
I really like what Washington has done. That is a team. Yes, they won the worst division in football history last year. They got a lot better. I think not just at quarterback. That team got better at a lot of spots.
Mm-hmm. That defense is terrifying. That defense is freaking terrifying.
They're going to be really, really good. I think the Falcons are due for a good hiccup year. I think the Panthers, who knows what they got. I think Dallas, as much as I would begrudgingly say it, will not be as bad as they were last year. The Giants fascinate me because I see a Giants path to 10, 11 wins. I don't think they're going to get there, but I see their path.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of teams that you got to catch, and with frankly the talent level that's on this team, there are. Your best player is your center. Your second best player is probably your left tackle. It might be your defensive end. Those aren't the positions that the best teams that are competing for playoff berths typically have as their best players.
Yeah.
There's a talent gap at the skill positions and the perimeter of the defense that's going to be difficult for the Lions to overcome in games where teams that have that have it.
Yep. Yeah, you're good. I think Oruwariye is going to take a huge step. I mean, listening to Okudah, what he said, the things that he wish he was told in his rookie year, I think you're going to see a huge step from him too.
I agree.
I think on the outside of the defense, I don't think it's this year, but I think you're going to see a big step forward from both gentlemen this year.
I think you're going to see a lot.
And I think you're seeing both come full.
My personal theory is that the Lions defense is far, far, far ahead of the Lions offense right now.
Agreed. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
You got to throw out the defense as you know it from last year and the year before that, and throw away that offense because that offense ain't here no more.
Nope. No, it is not. All right, let's get into one interesting game. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's the first 4:00 game. It's 4:05, October 24th. Game 7 against the Rams of Los Angeles and their loser of a quarterback. Guy can't get the ball past the line of scrimmage. So weak. Looks like a jerk. Total frat jerk. One of those guys. He can't get behind a guy like that.
The camera.
Yeah, doing keg stands and yeah. Anyway, we're playing the LA Rams the 24th.
Sorry, we appeared on 97.1 there for a second. Our apologies. Won't happen again.
LA Rams, Matthew Stafford, we're there. I mean, I'm just straight gonna say everything's stacked against us here. Now, there's gonna be an element of emotion for Holmes doing his homecoming and the guys wanting to stand up for him, right? There's also the element of Matthew. I don't know how well he is. He's taken a lot of injuries. We're game 7 into the season. And he always gets dinged up early, right? There's always a finger or something that's tweaked early. Not wishing it on him, right? But
right. And their offensive line is not as good as Detroit's, and it isn't as good as Detroit's last year either.
And you've got another week where the Lions' defensive line could really, really show that the draft strategy had made a lot of sense. I think you need to put another big D on your calendar here, because this is another one where you can evaluate our draft strategy in our front office.
We can talk about the Rams draft for a second here. Their first pick, remember, they traded all their picks away forever. Their first pick was a wide receiver who is the exact same size as my 6th grade daughter.
It's true. But you've got to be fair and say your 6th grade daughter is taller than 99% of 6th grade daughters.
She stands out in her class. That's a fair side on that.
You're not lying, but it's it's not a true representation either.
No, yeah.
But it's good. It's good. I like that. I wish I can't use your daughter in references, but that's yours to use forever, dude. I love that one.
I don't know how this team got better outside of adding Stafford. 2 of their 3 best players in their secondary are in Cleveland now. Their second best defensive lineman is in Detroit, Michael Brockers, who I think most Lions fans have no clue that he can play. They're going to miss those guys. They didn't replace Squad Douche on that team.
Oh
they are banking on Matthew Stafford making a lesser Rams team than they were last year 2 or 3 games better.
Yes,
I think we will all agree that Matthew Stafford would. I personally would like to see it happen for him, because I want to see it for him.
Yeah,
but that's asking a hell of a lot from a guy who was never able to really elevate some decent Lions teams to where we wanted them to be. Maybe he can do it. He absolutely has the capability of doing it, but I kind of need to see it, because I don't think this Rams team is as good as they have been in the last 2 or 3 seasons overall on their roster. And their draft is baffling how bad their draft was.
Are you calling
with what they lost.
Are you calling this a Lions win?
No, God, no.
Okay.
No, we're losing this game. But I'm going more macro here. Sorry. I think Stafford's going to hang 400 yards and 5 touchdowns on this team.
That's a funny
thing. I got to go macro.
You had me so confused. I was like, holy cow. Oh, my God. Okay.
Oh, we're losing.
Yeah, what he said. Oh, my God. All right, thanks for that, Riz. I needed that. First week back to work after a couple months. Oh man, I'm tired. No, that's absolutely a loss. It's absolutely a loss. Rams are not a squad douche. That's Kung Fu Panda, right? Isn't that what
that's a good movie?
Yeah.
Underrated kids movie that has some adult appeal to it too.
All right, so we'll just rock that off. Loretto hit us the super chat. Thank you, brother. Did you talk about the bye week yet? No, we're 1 game away from the bye week. And Rodgers, we did talk about him a bit at the first one. We are assuming Aaron Rodgers is not playing for the Green Bay Packers in our work today. We expect it'll be Blake Bortles. I love that name. It's just so dumb. Blake Bortles.
They're not going to play. They can't play Blake Bortles if they're throwing away the kingdom.
Fine.
Jordan Love. They can't.
Fine. Jordan Love.
I don't understand how people don't understand that.
Jordan Love. Whatever you say, Riz. If it's Blake Bortles, though, you owe me a $5. Okay.
Fair. I'm good for it.
All right, so we got a couple losses. We are now, I am 3-4. You are 2-5. We're heading into the Philadelphia Eagles at home. Got a little home game before the bye week. A good chance to kind of get some work done. I don't think the Eagles, I think they're going to eat the Eagles. I really do. I just straight up say I think this is going to be a win for the Lions. I don't think the Eagles have what it takes, and I think that it's going to be a sad homecoming for Darius Slay.
And Kerryon Johnson and the other 2 running backs that they've stolen from us. This is the Big V revenge game, baby.
Yeah.
Pulavati Vaitai going to maul some people in this game. Going to show Philadelphia that they should have paid him there instead of letting him go.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that the Eagles are right there with the Lions and a couple of other teams as the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
And this is this. So to go macro, if you're one of the people that wants the Lions to get the best possible draft pick, you want them to lose this game because the Eagles are going to be there in that bottom 5 too.
Yep.
So keep that in mind.
I just can't. You know,
their roster is rough, dude.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yep.
They have some peaks, but their valleys are worse than Detroit's valleys.
I can't wish a loss on this team. You know what I mean? It's just I just can't. Yeah. And I look at this, and that's where we're at. Before we get there, we got Crape Chanel in the chat. He says it's going to be Rodgers, guys. The cap hit is impossible. If Rodgers doesn't want to come back, Rodgers isn't going to come back, and I think he's got enough that he's willing to give the money back. I'm just telling you, he is a spiteful, bitter.
He's got that bitter breakup money.
Yep, yeah, he's going to do something crazy. All right, so now we head to the bye week. I think the biggest game this week without the Lions playing is, and then here we go, our annual St. Jude fundraiser. We're going to do the 24-hour podcast-a-thon again during the bye week, Friday, November 5th through Saturday, November 6th. Got a lot of time to plan for this. We're going to do a lot of good stuff while the Lions heal the players. We're going to help try to heal the kids and their families and help them get all the care for their sickness without having to pay a dime. And that's what we do every year when we try to raise money for the St. Jude. Great Children's Research Hospital. Great charity, doing great stuff. So we will do that. Mark your calendars, November 5th. Save your pennies. We're going to grab you by the ankles and take everything we can. Raised $20,000 for them last year, thanks to all of you, and we appreciate it more than you guys know. We're going at it again. I last year matched all the money from the auction, so I may pull something out of the hat this year again. So whatever you guys can do, we got some good stuff. The Lions always take part in the auction. We got to get Wayne on. We got to get Wayne on the show. That's one of the things. We're going to get Wayne on the next 2 or 3 weeks. Wayne Fonts. We'll have a talk with him. He's always on for the St. Jude. Maybe we can I'll get a couple balls because he's local. I'll go see him. I'll get a couple balls and we'll auction those throughout the year. Try to raise a couple bucks. Yeah. All right.
Got to specify these things.
I guess you're right. All right. So we have Philadelphia at home, which really stinks because I could fly there for a game. I would. No, I wouldn't. Who am I kidding?
Their new stadium. I've not been to a football game there, but I've been in the building. It's quite nice. If you've ever been to the Vet, that place needed to go.
I hear it's elevated a little bit so that the wind resistance on the batteries is less, and they hit harder. When they're thrown, so that's why.
There's no giant rats looking up at you longingly from the urinal cakes. That's much better than the Vet used to be.
What was that? Oh, never mind. Not even.
Last time I was in the Vet, Bronson Arroyo threw a no hitter. That's how long ago that was.
All right,
got rained out after 5 innings, so I didn't get credit for it.
Week 10, Game 9. I've got them at 4-4. Riz has them 3-5. Yeah, okay.
We both have them beating Philadelphia.
Yes. We now have them going to Pittsburgh, who tried so hard to steal Hank Fraley, and they couldn't do it. They tried. I'm going to tell you guys that they did, and they couldn't because they aren't all that.
They're not Detroit, baby.
That's right. And so we're in Pittsburgh. Lily Tomlin coaching. Sorry, there's an old reference.
Dude, you can't diss Mike Tomlin. No, man. I love Mike Tomlin.
I do too.
Again, this is another take that I have that gets me in trouble with the Cleveland people. Mm-hmm. I like Mike Tomlin a lot.
I do too. I you know how I exaggerate things, but
I'm kind of hoping that Dan Campbell turns into a Mike Tomlin type of coach.
Tomlin is one of the baddest mofos to walk the sideline in the NFL. I love everything he brings and represents over there. He does a great job, and you're right. I hope Dan Campbell's a twice as tall version of that.
That team is always in his image. Mm-hmm. They've done a great job of crafting players who buy into Mike Tomlin and what he's selling, and they do a very good job of not taking players that don't. And that's just as important in the NFL these days. And I think Pittsburgh, by and large, has done a really good job at that. Having said that, this is the worst Pittsburgh team that Tomlin has had, and they're ripe for the taking here. But I don't think that the Lions are going to pull it off. It's in Pittsburgh. This is the point in Pittsburgh's season where they really got to start racking some wins together if they want to keep their jobs.
Yep.
Because realistically, this is Big Ben's last season. It could be Tomlin's last season by his choice. There's a lot of things going on there. I think they will eke this out over Detroit, but I do think it'll be close. And I wrote this in the Lions Wire thing. This is a game where we will notice that Matt Prater is no longer the kicker for the Lions, because this is a game that could very well come down to a kick, and not having Matt Prater and having Fat Randy and his double calves is not going to go so well. He's had a house of horrors against Pittsburgh in his career.
Yeah.
So there's my justification for the loss, is not having Matt Prater anymore.
Okay, that's good. And make sure you check this out. I got to say, lionswire.usatoday.com. Great work from Riz all the time. During the week when you're not listening to the show, you get your Lions fix. Riz's stuff is the tops. It is absolutely the tops.
You're too kind.
But Pittsburgh, this is a home game, and I'm calling it a win. I'm calling this a win if we're at home, and I just it stings me. It stings me to call this a loss, because you're right.
They're in Pittsburgh.
I know. If it's a home game, we win this game. And it stings me because they're away. This is a typical Lions thing where, like, for years the players we need don't line up right in the draft. We get this weird gap place, and then we wind up with Eric frickin' Ebron or something stupid like that. Constantly. And this is one of those things where, what the heck? Why can't we have them at home? But no, this is going to be a loss. I'm sorry, guys. All right, moving on to the 21st of November, Sunday, 1 p.m., we're going to face off against the Cleveland Browns. Now, these Brownies, they did a lot. Okay, let me tell you. They're for real. They're real good. Yeah. I don't know how you gave up the Browns wire. I'm just telling you, because this is the year. You'd make $1 million off of that, dude. This is their year. God almighty. I wouldn't say they're a blueprint to go from 0-16 to where they are now. I wouldn't use that as a blueprint, because there was some really rough road along the way. But holy cow, this team is one of the four that haven't made the Super Bowl ever. They got a legit shot this year.
Holy shit! This team is really, really good. And so I'll harken back to what I wrote. And I wrote this only on Lions Wire. I did not write it on the Browns Wire, but I still write at Browns Wire, by the way. I'm just not in charge of the day-to-day operations anymore. And I'm very happy about that. It's a very good thing. If you care about that, watch the podcast I was on last night, All Eyes on Cleveland with Brad Ward. We explained all that last night. Check that out. Subscribe to his channel, too, because he's a really good dude. And I like him a lot, and he has me on a lot, and we have fun. This Cleveland team can win the Super Bowl this year. And I'm not saying that because I'm from Cleveland. I'm not saying that because I've covered the team for the last 5 years. This is a great, great football team. You want top-end talent, they got it. They have the best offensive line in the NFL. They have Myles freaking Garrett, and if you want to amuse yourself and are confident that your wife loves you, have her watch the videos he posts on Instagram of him working out. Good freaking Lord. The guy does 60-inch box jumps with 50-pound dumbbells in each hand. I don't know how he's human. I don't know how Taylor Deckers can block him. They're so good, and Baker Mayfield really clicked at the end of last year. This is a team that's going to win multiple playoff games this year. They are not going to lose. Now I will say this, though. It is a bit of a trap game for them because it's between Pittsburgh and Baltimore for them. So there's some risk for that. But this is a really good Browns team, guys. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. It's I'm unfortunately calling this a loss too. The Browns are for real. The Browns are going to be for real for a while. The contract situation has them set up for a little bit, doesn't it?
They're going to have to make some tough decisions. They already made one getting rid of Sheldon Richardson. Their big decision is, do they pay Nick Chubb or not after this year? And that's a conversation that's for a different podcast. But they're going to have to make some tough choices. So Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Nick Chubb, David Njoku are all on the team this year. 2 of those guys won't be there in 2022, but they're all there now, and you better believe they're going to try to go out on a winning note.
All right, there we go. Okay, I'm just lining up my my thing. So we both called Cleveland a loss, right?
Yeah. So that's what 3 and 6 for me, and 3 and 7 for me.
Yes, I'm
And
4
you're
and 6.
4 and 6.
Yep,
Okay.
still in it, barely hanging on. But what did I do? I headed on over to cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com because I know Thanksgiving's coming up. I got a couple extra days. I need to chill out. I need to feel the stress fall out, just like Ray shows. Head over to cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. Get the very, very best in pain, anxiety, and insomnia relief. It is the stuff you need. There's 2 kinds, and I want to tell everybody this because I don't want anybody to get into a dangerous space. There's the normal CBD that you can go ahead and use, and that is going to take care of all 3 of those things for you. And you'd be fine on drug tests. But if you go to the chill line or the chill extreme line, then you're going to find you get all those great feelings and makes the pain, anxiety, and insomnia go away, but you also get a good buzz with it. Not a little buzz, a good buzz with it. The chill extreme is powerhouse stuff. It's for real. It is good stuff. So check out cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. When you take the chill or chill extreme line, please, the first time, only take 1 gummy. Only eat 1 gummy. I've had many, many reports from guys losing a couple hours from eating too much. So just do 1 the first time, and you know how it works. And you're good to go. cbd.detroitlionspodcast. Support the show by supporting your head. Thank you. All right, Chicago, Thanksgiving.
I need some of the chill to deal with my chair here. I had to go grab my for those of you watching on YouTube, my laptop was about to die, so I had to go get the charger in the other room, and I came back and I moved the chair, and the chair went off the little thing. So I'm
so you go.
I'm trying to shove in. I'm hitting the back of the floor cover. I'm like, ah!
All I saw was feet,
now.
and then you were gone. All right.
All is well.
But
all
you see
well.
that? Did you see how professional I was throughout that? And I got us through, and we're back on track.
That was very good.
Thank you. I am a broadcasting professional. All right, let's talk about the Chicago.
Thanksgiving, baby.
I should show it on the podcast once in a while. Let's talk about the Chicago game on Thanksgiving, November 25th. Gosh, I want to come in town for this game. I'm still trying to figure out what games I want to go to. The aways, the homes, whatever's. They're all good. November 25th, Chicago. I'm straight calling a win out of this one. I really am. At home on Thanksgiving, wow. I'm just straight saying, look, I know the Bears are good, but the Bears and the Lions play very, very close, and they seem to trade every year. And I think this Lions team, it's that intangible thing, that heart and soul that makes up this team. It's being home. It's Thanksgiving. It's the family, the grit, the love of football, the tradition. I think all of these things are going to drive these guys to play in a game, because you steal one every year. You know what I mean? And I think this is the game that the Lions are going to get. It's on Thanksgiving on a national stage. And again, there are 2 national games I'm predicting wins on, which normally I just automatically write them off as losses because the Lions have never been able to show up in the big show. And it's always that's when their seasons turn for the worse. But this is a new regime. This is a different mindset. And I think these 2 games are going to, no matter what the record is, people say, hi, yeah, look at the record. But they're going to have seen them nationally and say, there's something about this team. So I'm seeing a win here on Thanksgiving against Chicago.
I'm going the other direction. I think this is the game where Justin Fields rubs it into the Lions' noses that they didn't take him. I think this is his breakout game.
Ooh.
And a big, big Bears win. The Lions haven't won on Thanksgiving since 2016. 2 of those losses were to the Bears. The latter of those was one of the most lifeless games I've ever seen in any domain. I believe that was the David Blau game, was it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough. This one will be better, but this is one where I think the Bears really. I think this is Justin Fields saying, "Hey, bub, you should have drafted me," and this is his statement.
And remember, folks, let's go back to 2 years ago when Riz predicted us to be a 5-win team, and was excoriated on social media, on Reddit, everywhere. I mean, was just
still on.
Frog marched, right? I mean, across town. They hated this man, and he nailed it. Except for the tie. The tie blew his whole thing out, so nobody trusts him anymore. No, but so I'm not going to argue with you because you seem to have this knack for predicting horror. for the Lions. It's hard not to, right? But I'm not going to argue against you. But I just think this is that game. This is that game where the script is flipped. So, and I see Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields next year is a lot more of a threat against the Lions than this year. That's where I'll disagree, but that's okay. So you now have us at 3 and 9.
3 and 8.
At 2 and 4 for the first 5. That's because I miscounted.
That's 6.
That's 6 games. Yeah.
We're in week 12.
I got 2 and 4 for the first
games.
6, and 1 and 3 for the last 4.
Yeah.
And now we got 2 more. And you got 2 no losses, so you got 3 and 9. Right? Is that what we said? Is that what you said?
8. 3 and 8. I'm at 3 and 8.
Okay.
You would be at 5 and 6.
I don't know why my math isn't working. I'm going to trust yours.
I don't know.
All right, we'll move on to the.
You had us you had us losing to both Cleveland and Pittsburgh, right?
Yes.
So you are now 2 wins ahead of me.
Yes.
So yeah. So you're at 5 and 6. I'm at whatever I just said.
3.
3 and 8.
3 and 8. There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, Loretto, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, my friend. There's always 2 to 3 high quarterback busts from the draft. Fields is one of those busts. Buddy, so this is where Riz and I disagree. And Riz thinks that Fields was taken I don't want to say too late, but later than he should have probably been.
He should have been the number 2 pick in this draft. Zach Wilson is the easy call for the bust in this draft. The Jets are going to rue the decision that they locked in on him so early.
Interesting. I think I agree with Loretto that the Justin Fields, he fell for a reason, and the only thing that really seals it is that Chicago moved up to grab him. Their history here shows that they have no ability, that Pace has no ability to either deal with his draft capital appropriately or evaluate a quarterback. So there's something funky going on. If he's great, more power to him. I hope he's, for his sake as a player, I hope he does great. For the Lions' sake, I hope he's a Trubisky, ditto, and we move on. We'll see how it goes. But
nice if we beat him, because we could never damn beat Trubisky.
I know.
That really bothered me about Patricia, that he couldn't beat Trubisky.
It's embarrassing. I mean, that's probably one of the most embarrassing things about the Patricia era is that we couldn't beat Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell. All right.
Dude spent his signing bonus on Axe body spray. I can't stand it.
Still can't even get close to him.
I will never forget him doing knuckle push-ups to make himself look swole before he did his combine interview. Like, dude, really? Come on.
Minnesota Vikings at home, December 5th, in the frozen Ford Field because the air conditioning was stuck on. Because it's Ford Field. Let's see. What do you think? We've got Kirk Cousins. We've got a receiving core that we've talked about, but we've got him at home this time. This is going to turn the tables. How the turntables.
Can I give you a reason why the Lions have some chance to win here, better than they do in the other one?
Yeah,
The Vikings play Sunday Night Football in San Francisco the week before this, so they're traveling from San Francisco to Detroit. Shorter week, travel.
That's good.
That's an advantage for the Lions. So the schedule makers did them a favor here. The other thing,
we had a long break from Thanksgiving,
right? We're coming off that break, so
yeah.
that's about as good of an advantage as you're going to get schedule wise. The other thing is San Francisco figures to be a physical football team. They're coming out of that. Maybe
get a guy dinged up.
We got to go macro here again for a second. The Vikings are a perilous team. They can be really good. They can also be in the final year of the Kirk Cousins, Mike Zimmer, all the things moving, Rick Spielman, all the things that they've got going on there. If they're not in playoff contention by this point, they could be having an interim coach at this game, especially if they lose this game. This could be Kellen Mond audition time if it's not going well for them. And if that happens, I like the Lions' chances a lot. But if this is a team that's still playing for something, the Vikings are going to win this game because they are a bad matchup X's and O's for what the Lions do.
So you got to put a W or an L down. What are you going to do?
I'm going to put the L down.
Oh,
but it's one. This is
we're having a heck of a lot more we've had in any of the last 3 years. And this is something I want folks to understand, because it doesn't look like this is going to be a great team this year on the wins and losses. Schedule's fun, where we're going is fun, all that kind of stuff. But this team is going to be a lot more fun to watch play. There's going to be some crazy stuff that happens. I am telling you, there are going to be some crazy plays. There's going to be some crazy, this is weird to say, but some crazy bounces the ball that just didn't happen before. This is going to be one of the most entertaining years of football Lions have had.
I absolutely agree with that. We're going to see an inspired group, and guys who aren't inspired won't be on the field, and they won't be on the team long.
Yep.
And I think you're going to see some of that weeding out process go on, which is one of the reasons why I talked when we were talking about the Cincinnati game, why the trade deadline is something to really focus on this year. Because if they realize that the guys don't fit, they're going to get rid of them this year. That's the way Holmes does things. That's the way John Dorsey does things. Yep. If it's not working, they're gonna bail on it. So pay more attention than usual to the trade deadline this year, and specifically guys that, you know, you can see the candidates. We talked about it. Flowers, Collins. Offensively, it's a little bit tougher, but they don't really have anybody that can go on offense. Maybe somebody would pay for Big V if they have injury problems.
How about the amount of time, or the amount of roster positions they had for UDFAs this year? Wasn't that how many they signed? What was it? 9?
No, I think we're at 13.
Yeah, it was like 9, 12.
And there are 2 or 3 of them that have very good chances to not only make the team, but make the active roster every week and actually play a little.
Yeah. It's a testament to a couple of things. How bad the team is, number one, from a talent perspective at certain positions, but also how crazy this draft was. Right, with guys that didn't play and everything else that happened, this was and the level of talent. Right, this is a really nutty year for talent, and there's a lot of guys. This is going to be on the counter side of it from a player's perspective. There's going to be a lot of throwaway players out there. There's going to be a lot of throwaway players this year, drafted or not. And I think part of the deal is there's a lot of high ranked guys that wound up UDFAs for various reasons that are going to play. You're probably going to see, let me make a weird prediction. There'll be more UDFAs that make a roster and play next year than normal, and more low round draft picks that don't than normal. Does that make sense? Riz is frozen. We've lost him. He'll be back in a minute. It does make sense. I know it does. All right, so there you go. Here we are. We've got Minnesota Vikings. We've got losses for both of those. I know Riz will reconnect after the Minnesota Vikings. Let's see, we've got a 3-8 for Riz. We got a 5-7 for me. I put us down for losses. Hey, Riz.
Good. I'm back. Sorry.
No, it's okay. We're now moving on to the Denver Broncos, December 12th. It's our second 4:00 game of the year in Denver. Now, I've heard people talking about the weather. This is the test of the weather, and Denver. I have a friend who lives in Highlands Ranch. I hadn't seen him for a couple of years, but I went and visited him, and it was beautiful. And I was like, man, I bet your snowblower gets a workout, because he'd moved from Michigan. He's like, nope, sold it. Like, what do you mean you sold it? He said, when it snows here, it snows like an inch. And by the time half the day is gone, it's gone. It's melted. It's gone. In Denver proper, you really don't get all that kind of crazy snow. The second you hit the foothills, it goes up, right? I think it may be cold, okay? I just don't think it's going to be a massive weather kind of a game. The biggest weather they have are the thunderstorms in the first part of the season. So I don't think that's going to be as big a factor.
Yeah, there's more likely to be bad weather in Pittsburgh and Cleveland in prior weeks than there is in this one.
Yeah. All right, so here we are. We're looking at the Denver Broncos.
Where Aaron Rodgers could be the quarterback.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers quarterbacks anywhere if he leaves.
Okay.
It's crazy, right? It's a huge prediction. Mm-hmm. I don't think if he's going to go, the Green Bay Packers aren't going to get. Nobody's going to. He's just going to be. They're not going to let him go. They're not going to let him play in this league. I really do not believe that they're going to let him play with another team.
I buy that, and some of that is based on their experience with Favre and how south that went.
It's my whole dream is for Aaron Rodgers to get traded to the Broncos or whoever and wind up back in Minnesota. So it could be just like Brett Favre, forever a Viking.
That'd be
right?
great.
Oh my God,
That'd be
great.
great.
It's great.
Yeah.
They always turn great when they go to Minnesota.
So regardless of who's the quarterback for them, even though Drew Lock isn't very good, he's one of the few quarterbacks that I would absolutely take Jared Goff over, both short and long term. Denver's really good except the quarterback. That's one of the reasons why you hear Aaron Rodgers penciled in there. Their defense is really good.
Yep.
Their offensive line has gotten a lot better. They have weapons. In fact, they're good enough at wide receivers that they cut today Deshaun Hamilton, their 4th round pick from a couple of years ago. And by the way, don't be surprised if the Lions put a waiver claim in on that. That's very likely to happen. He might not actually fall to their waiver claim spot, but that waiver claim now is still based on the draft order until week 6. So the Lions are 7th in that line, and they probably won't get a crack at Hamilton. But I bet I will. I'll be surprised if they don't put a waiver claim in on him. But that's, again, Denver's loaded except at quarterback. This is a good football team. If they get the quarterback right, this team can win a playoff game or two.
Yep. And I wouldn't. There's no harm in putting in a waiver claim. Doesn't hurt you at all. So you might as well just file it. If you don't get it, okay, you just move up next in line. There you go. All right. Let's see. Detroit,
so that's a loss.
Yeah,
we got a loss there.
That's what I have to. Detroit fan man Rodgers doesn't even talk to his family. He's beyond stubborn, and this smells like a measuring contest. So excited for the Bortles show in Green Bay. So am I. You mark those words, Riz. I'm making all kinds of wacky predictions. Bortles is going to play in Green Bay this year.
If they play Blake Bortles over Jordan Love,
I don't know it'll be over Love. I'm just saying he's going to play this year in Green Bay.
Wow.
All right, a team that's become my nemesis. I am so sick of playing these idiots. It's another bird team.
Every bleeping year, Chris, we play the
Yep, we got him at home. We've had Kyler Murray every year since he was a rookie. I don't know why. We figured him out. I guess that's it. I don't know. Loretto, he hits with the super chat. I got to hit him up. I'm going to redraft my fantasy league. Should I be drafting Bortles #1? Book it, man. Book it.
That's great, dude. That is a great comment. I love it.
Loretto's always got the good stuff. Thank you, brother.
So this is in Detroit. So Detroit, this is the 5th year in a row they have played the Cardinals. The Lions are 3-0-1 in that time against Arizona. We've had their number
with Patricia. What do you got?
The other thing, Arizona plays Monday Night Football against the Rams before this game. Then they got to travel to Detroit. It's an early Eastern time kickoff. They're not good on the East Coast. This is a Detroit victory. 4-0-1 in the last 5 years against Arizona. Book it.
Wow, you're putting them up to 4-10 at this point with a victory.
Yes.
I'm calling a sad day at Ford Field. I think Kyler he's hungry. He can't do it at home. He's going to have to do it on the road, and I think he does. I hate the team. I hate playing them, but I actually like what they got with Hopkins and Murray. I think they're
Hopkins is a problem.
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
Best wide receiver in football.
Yeah, and Murray and him are just they've had a year. I think this is something going to be good for them this year. Unfortunately,
they're kind of all in. I mean, they added J.J. Watt. So for those of you who do not like my linebacker takes, this is a great team to watch because they have taken 3 now in the last 4 years in the first round of guys who are positionless linebackers that you just try to go and have them make plays. Hassan Reddick. Then they took Isaiah Simmons last year. He couldn't even cover Jesse James. We saw that with our own eyes. This year they took Zaven Collins, who was better than either of those guys coming out of Tulsa. But they're going to play him at the mic. This is a game. Mike, buddy, you were talking about Derek Barnes earlier. Derek Barnes and Zaven Collins are going to play the same roles for similar styles of defenses here. This is your measuring stick for Derek Barnes right here.
Ooh, that's right. Okay, circle that with a LB instead of a D there, Mike. I wish I could go with you, buddy. I'm calling a loss. I just don't think so. Isaiah Simmons was almost comical to watch. And I think back to how many Lions fans were screaming for him. Yeah.
Let him play one. Don't ask him to play five. You think they would have figured that out? And if they do it with Zaven Collins, I'm going to be irked, man, because I like Zaven Collins a lot. That guy's a good football player, and I'd hate to see them ruin him.
Isaiah Simmons should be a cautionary tale for fans, Lions fans, and fans everywhere. Just watch again. Just watch that play out and see what it is. I think you talk about his athletic ability. You talk about everything he carried coming out in the draft and how many people wanted him and what he produces. I think you're going to find there's a definite gap.
I do think he's going to be better this year, in part because they have Collins next to him to do that kind of thing. Now, he got better late in the year, to his credit, where they started asking him to be more of a TJ Watt type player, which I think suits him pretty well. He's not that good, but he at least filled that role better than when you're asking him to be the Mike on one play and a hand in the dirt defensive end on another play and your slot corner on another play, all on the same freaking drive, which they did against Detroit, and that's why he struggled so bad.
Yep. All right, let's move on. We've got the Atlanta Falcons. We're down in I don't know which name to call it, Malcolm's area, we'll just say, and Malcolm Town, right?
Hi, Malcolm. Hope you're listening. We love you, buddy.
Maybe we should make that it's the day after Christmas. I can't do that. Family would kill me. I'm trying to figure out the game that Riz and I and Sandman go to.
That would be a tough one.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're going to say the 26th of November, day after Christmas, the Atlanta Falcons down in Atlanta. You can go get you can't get your Chick-fil-A there, but you can find some cheap snacks on Sunday.
Got Chick-fil-A in the stadium and it's closed outside. Who thought of that? Come on.
That's a statement.
Come on.
It's a statement. So, what do you got? The Atlanta Falcons, they're in a weird spot this year, right? New coach, new GM. What are they going to do with Matt Ryan? There was all kinds of guesses as to whether he was going to go. They were going to draft a quarterback. What's going on?
They should have taken Justin Fields too.
They're trying to ride the Ryan train and milk that cow till it goes dry. What do you think happens this week for the Lions?
I think this is. So the Lions actually play pretty well in Atlanta. I did the research on this. They've won 3 of their last 4 trips there. The only time they lost was the first Matt Ryan game. You might remember that. That was
500 yards. Was it?
That was week 1 of 2008. It didn't get better after that game, unfortunately.
Didn't he have like 510 yards that game? It was
some absurd amount of yards. Yes,
nuts. Oh god,
yeah.
That's another one that's just forever stitched in my brain.
The fact that he's still there is kind of impressive. Because he's basically had a very similar career arc to Matthew Stafford, and he did in fact win and get them to a Super Bowl, which their coach blew.
Oh boy, did he ever!
Yeah.
Did he ever?
He did. And it unfortunately led Matt Patricia to get the Lions job. So God bless it, that really stinks. Now I just thought of that and it made me angry. I'm about to snap something here. I think Atlanta is going to be competing for a playoff spot. I'm not sure that they're going to make it, but I think this is a game that they've got to win. And I think they have the ability with Kyle Pitts, their pick that they took instead of Justin Fields. And I can validate it better for them than I can for some other teams. Matt Ryan is not the reason why they're not winning there. It's been their defense. Their defense is still not great, but they have a couple of things. They have linebackers that can fly. And if you're a Lions team that's based on throwing to your tight end and throwing to your running backs and the gimmicky passing game that Jared Goff likes, speedy inside linebackers with coverage acumen are your death knell. And that's about all that Atlanta does well on defense, unfortunately. So it's a bad X's and O's matchup for the Lions offense, and I think that's enough for Atlanta to outscore them.
Yeah. I will add, being away the day after Christmas, I mean, look, the stadium in Atlanta it plays to the Lions' favor. Not that they're away, but they play well on that turf. That they do very, very well there. But everything else is stacked against them. Besides the X's and O's, just nothing is lined up in their favor. I just don't see, and I see a team that's had a number of losses. It's not that they're not going to go out there and try, and they're not going to have the pride. I think this is going to be a really enjoyable game to watch. I just don't think we're going to have what it takes to overcome those Atlanta Falcons. So there you go. A couple of losses. It pushes snow.
Day after Christmas. That's coal in the stocking. That's unfortunate.
I still have us one win up at 5-10, 4-11. Let's see.
For those of you who need a Christmas present, the Green Bay Packers are playing in Cleveland on Christmas Day. That'll be a nice L for you to watch for Green Bay.
In the Bortles regime. Okay, moving on to the Seattle Seahawks on the 2nd of January, 4:25. It's our third 4 o'clock game of the season. That's not bad. Not too many late games. Lions are on a tough streak here. We've got you've got you got to win. You got to win against Arizona, so you're okay. But I've on a 4-loss streak here, so things are looking sad, and they're going to a pretty good team with the 12th man behind them.
And this is a team that is a different animal at home. A different bird at home, if you will. And they will probably be playing for playoff life, vitality, or seeding. That's a bad place for the Lions to be facing. Going cross-country after a holiday, look, they have the ability to win this game. And it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Excuse me, but it's asking a lot to predict it now in May.
You're asking the thing is, it really, to me, it depends a lot on San Fran and the Rams, how those teams play out. There's a scenario in which Seattle could be sitting people this week.
They could be.
Yeah, I don't
think they're going to be there, but they could be. Absolutely.
There's a scenario in which that could happen. That's probably the most likely chance the Lions have to win at the Clink. I don't see this as a win at all. I'm putting it down as another lesson learned at in Seattle. And
by the way, the officials have done some interesting things for Seattle over the years, including the KJ Wright illegal batting that didn't get called.
And we've seen that the officials prefer the Seahawks over the Packers, and we know how bad it is at Lambeau. So there you go.
God, I love that. See, I don't particularly have any real strong feelings towards Seattle, positive or negative, but damn, I root for them against Green Bay.
Yeah, every time. That playoff year where we lost and then Denver lost to Green Bay, or Dallas lost to Green Bay, and then Green Bay lost to Seattle. That played out exactly how I wanted the hearts to break. That was great.
Des caught the ball.
Yeah. Don't give me that. I don't have
Watch that game in Florida at the Shrine game.
Yeah, I don't have that Blandino about Des. But he does say something to Dallas fans.
This guy needs and I'm going to find him and just give him a big
There you go, Blandino. Good stuff. We got to get him on again, too.
Dean, we do need to get Dean back. There are some rule changes that we need to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, last game of the season, Green Bay Packers. I'm going to put it out here like this. I want to set this up because we said early it's going to be the Jordan Love. Well, you said Jordan Love, the Blake Bortles era in Green Bay. Conversely, if you go back and it was the Aaron Rodgers era in Green Bay this year, Aaron Rodgers is still not playing this game. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree. Because they're either going to be resting for the playoffs because they've won the division by 5 games, or they're like, okay, it's not working. It's time to see what we've got in Jordan Love. Let's see if he can start the final game of the year the way that Patrick Mahomes did back for Kansas City a few years back.
Or
I don't want to see her later, but
Aaron was never there. Jordan Love played all year, and they're like, let's see what Blake Bortles has.
Can we trade for Tim Boyle? How much money they wasted on Blake Bortles when they could have kept Tim Boyle.
Oh my goodness!
There are a lot of Packers fans who are legit Tim Boyle fans. I don't get it. I need to go. I legitimately need to go watch the tape because I haven't seen it. I don't understand it. I'm not averse to it, but
I'm going to tell you the Blake Bortles move is a direct attack, affront, assault, whatever you want to call it, on Aaron Rodgers. That's a big middle finger saying, "There you go, buddy." Right? I really believe it. Some people, it can be, they can work it out. Nope.
That debate is playing out across the lake quite vigorously.
Yep.
I actually listen to some Milwaukee radio so that I can catch it over the air. I live close enough to the lake that I can do that. And yes, they are very, very divided in Wisconsin right now about who is in the right and what is the right direction to take.
And
it's fun.
Can I say, Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, whatever, right? Matthew Stafford was a great quarterback for the Detroit Lions too. And how he exited. Can you imagine if he had exited in the same way that Aaron Rodgers is? Again, I ask anybody, how could we have done any better at quarterback than what we did with picks and Goff and everything else on how that played out? It could not have been played better. People that say, oh, yeah, it's so disingenuous to say, number one, oh, yeah, Holmes just traded the quarterback to get his guy Goff because that's the guy he drafted. And that's not how it happened, right? The honest God truth is that Stafford said, I want to go. So he started with without a quarterback, basically. Right. And he turned that situation into Jared Goff and a whole bunch of treasure. I want to say, that was a heck of a move. That was a heck of a move.
It's what he will forever be judged by.
Yeah.
And so far, I'm very happy with the returns on it. And as you know, I'm not a huge Jared Goff fan. I'm not anti-Goff. I'm all for giving him a chance to prove that he can be the quarterback for the long term. Because if you've got him, and I, as you know, Chris, we've talked about this. I believe that all those guys that wash out as a first-round pick, you always deserve one other chance.
Yeah.
This is his chance, and I'm proud of the Lions for giving it to him. And they're, because they know him so well with the organizational structure that they brought in, they're the best chance for him to succeed at that.
Yep.
I still need to see it happen, but I'm not like one of these people like, oh, you should have held out and look at what the Lions got for Stafford versus what the Eagles got for Carson Wentz.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be probably an unpopular opinion. I like Goff. I like his personality. I like his style. I'd pipe his girlfriend. I like everything about just sharing the love. I mean, he started it. I really like this guy. Look, he may not have an arm like Matthew Stafford. Right, he may not be the guy that elevates a team. He's not Aaron Rodgers, but the thing he's done everywhere he's been is taken a terrible team that he could have given up on. He could have just taken the money and called it a day. Right, he could have done anything. He's taken terrible teams and made them great, from college to the Rams, and here he is facing the exact same situation. If there's any quarterback that I trust to be able to do that and not break along the way, to have confidence and proven ability to do it, is Jared Goff. Will he? I don't know. But I like the guy. I like his swag. I like he's, I think I would say he's got a little bit more youthful approach than Matthew Stafford does. Maybe, from a maturity level, but he's younger, right? I mean, he's like kind of half a generation younger. I like Goff. He makes me laugh. He makes me smile. I love his personality, and I love his. I don't give an F. You're not gonna. I'm unflappable. I'm not gonna worry. And I'll tell a story that people have probably all heard. It was the Super Bowl, and it was Joe Montana, and they're on the comeback, right? And he says, they needed this play, and I don't remember the finer details. You probably do. And he gets into the huddle, and he says, "Hey, down there," and he's pointing down at the end zone, and the guys in the huddle are looking, and they're thinking, yeah, this is going to be that's where we're going speech, right? No, like the third row. Is that John Candy? Right? Here it is. It's all on the line, right? He's all on the line. Yeah. And he's like, is that John Candy? Like, broke the guy's stress, broke up, good laugh, whatever, got the play in, and they wound up winning the game. Huge thing, right? That kind of unflappable spirit, I feel like you get that. And the kid's 26? He's 26, right? My God, it's beyond his years. I love it. I love what he has. He may not be the guy, but he has all the pieces to be the guy. And that, to me, is more promising than what I've seen from Justin Fields. Justin Fields may be the guy, too. He may be, and I think you project him to be really, really amazing. But from what we've seen more that can be successful from Jared Goff than we have from Justin Fields. The ceiling's probably higher. The ceiling's higher on Fields. But if I had to put my money down and I wanted to be with a more sure bet, I'm going to put it on Goff. If I'm willing to take a little more risk, I'm going with Fields, because I think the high side returns is pretty big there. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
All right. Loretto, really quick, would Rodgers retire to spite Green Bay if he pays the money?
Yes, he would.
Yeah.
Yes, he would.
If he pays the money back,
absolutely
where would he go? Where would he go that would pay him? The team would need to win now, right? He can't go anywhere. It's kind of like Calvin retiring. He would retire,
the Packers
rights.
control that.
Yep.
Until the end of his contract, and because he's not playing, they don't have to, but they can toll the contract in perpetuity to control him forever.
He will never play in the NFL again if he retires. I think he's going to retire to spite them. I think that it's true that he waited a whole year till draft day to spite them. I think he was that mad and butthurt.
I don't know, man, but it would not be out of character for him to be that, but
he can make more money in TV.
That's a lot, man.
But he can make more money in TV. So say he signs $15 million, we'll say, in TV. Oh, $3 million a year. He's not going to hurt, right? He's married to someone who's got a lot of money. He's already got a lot of money.
That's true. She makes a lot of money.
And then 2 years later, you're cranking $15 million. You're making more than Green Bay ever paid you to stand on TV and throw all kinds of shade at Green Bay, so you can continue your spite run for years and years and years.
He's got an instant gig as Pat McAfee's co-host, and he'll be really good at that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that'll get picked up by Sirius or something. You will get a ton of podcasting advertisements on that. That would be must listen radio, YouTube, TikTok, whatever platform we're going to be on at some point.
I'd have him as a guest, but he would never be my co-host, Riz. I would never put him in over you.
Oh,
I mean that.
Wow.
I do that from the bottom of my heart. I 100%. I would love to have him on to throw shade at Green Bay, though. Okay. Lions podcast. Oh, that would be great. That would be such a cool.
That would be fun.
Green Bay, no matter what, Rodgers isn't playing. January 9th game, last game of the season, number 17. Where are you at? What's your feed on this?
So I hedged this in the Lions Wire thing based on if they needed to win it or not. Based on the strategy that we're going with here, they do not need to win that game because they're not going to be good, because Jordan Love and or Blake Bortles is their quarterback for the entire season. So I will just say that in that case, the Lions win this football game.
Well, we've broken a 2-game loss.
And by the way, what do the Lions do better than anybody else? They win meaningless games to ruin their draft status
against the Packers at the end of the year.
We all know that's going to happen.
Yep.
So this is a W for the Lions.
This is going to be a 400-yard game for Jared Goff.
So that would make them, for me, finish 5-12.
Yes.
And I think for you, that's 6-11, right?
Yes.
Or 7-10. Is it
6-11.
6-11.
6-11 and 5-12, or just a game away.
So real quickly, look around the league. Who's going to be worse than that? Houston will be worse than that.
Oh God, yeah.
Philadelphia will probably be worse than that. I can see the Jets possibly being worse than that. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the bottom falls out in New Orleans, but I think they're good enough to not be that bad. That's maybe it all goes to hell in New England, but I really don't see that happening.
No, I think they're on a bounce back year. Unfortunately,
I actually agree with that too. And I could see the Raiders probably have too much talent to fall complete victim to the weird drafting that they do.
Right.
But those are the teams that you're looking at as competing for the worst draft pick. And maybe Cincinnati. Maybe I'm too bullish on Joe Burrow and a rebuilt defense there. They're not going to be good, but and Pittsburgh also, you got to throw them in, because if Roethlisberger is as done as he was at the end of last year, that's a last place team with a freaking bullet going down.
Oh man, I'm trying to get. And it didn't work out.
Even at 6-11, the Lions are one of the 6 or 7 worst teams in the league, and they will have 2 first-round picks. They will be able to do what San Francisco did this year if they want to, and move up to 2 or 3. They could have moved up to 2. The Jets didn't want to move because they wanted to make sure that they got Wilson. The team that's picking 2 next year could be any one of the teams we just mentioned. Might not need the quarterback, so they might be willing to move. So just finishing in that range doesn't take you out of contention to get Spencer Rattler, Sam Howell, the dude from Liberty that everybody is mocking now. The dude Keaton Slovis out at USC, the dude from Nevada that I haven't watched yet, the dude from who knows where that I haven't watched yet.
Sam Howell's going to be the big name, right? I think, and he's also possibly the big bust, right? Because there's always one that takes a
there's your oh god, who was the guy that Todd McShay from Minnesota like 4 or 5 years ago? McShay put him in the first round of his mock draft, and he wound up like not even starting week 1 for Minnesota that year. And I can't think of his name, and it's bugging me, and it's going to come to me as soon as we get off the air. And it's really going to bug me.
Oh man.
Mitch Leidner, that's who it was. It came to me.
Whew. Yeah, 6-11. I mean, we could be picking 7th again, and frankly, as like you had me fooled there as we were talking about the Rams that the Lions could beat them. We talk about that team. Other than Matthew Stafford, that team's got a lot of problems.
Other than Matthew Stafford, that team is not as good as they were last year.
They could wind up being another version of the Lions.
They are more likely to be what last year's Cowboys were. A team that overestimated its own in-house talent after they got rid of some pieces that they needed and fell far.
So they drafted what, 13th this year? 10th?
Dallas picked 10th.
10th, yeah.
No, 11th.
Okay.
11th.
So let's just say,
10th, and they traded.
It was 10th.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's 15th. Let's say the Rams fall to 15th, and we have a 7 and a 15. There's no way we can't get the number 1 overall pick.
2 right there.
Really? Oh God, I figured that.
7 and 15 gets you to 2 instantly.
Okay.
With nothing else.
Right.
Especially if it's a team that doesn't need a quarterback.
Yeah. So I mean, with the year afters, Rams first. I mean, we can get to number 1 overall.
Yes,
I think we can absolutely get to number 1 overall.
That is absolutely tenable.
Yep.
Yes.
So there's all kinds of power under that hood for the Detroit Lions. 6-11, 5-12 are the two predictions. Good for the team. I think the team. I think that's real, and I think it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun.
Can I do a little breaking news here?
Yeah.
It just came across my thing.
I've seen a couple.
The Lions signed Aleem McNeil to a 4-year deal for $1.090 signing bonus. He got the maximum amount that's allowed for his draft slot. So good for Aleem. Good to get him in.
Yeah.
You're going to hear a lot of this because rookie minicamp starts tomorrow.
Yes. All right. Let's see. Okay, we're going to get into the next thing. That was the schedule breakdown for this year. That's where we see things. This is the first time I haven't had a 9 or 10 win prediction in the 5 years of the show. That's crazy. I want to talk about the Detroit Lions subreddit, our Detroit Lions on Reddit.
Yes, we need to talk about that.
100,000 subscribers is off the hook. That's nuts, man. I'll tell you guys.
That's really cool.
We started this podcast almost 6 years ago. We're a month away from being 6 years old now, and crazy stuff. There was only 6,000 and some hundred subscribers on the subreddit when we started, and now it's over 100K. And we're not taking credit for that. Don't get me wrong, right? I mean, we helped, but that thing has grown leaps and bounds. And I got to tell you, it's awesome. I mean, there's great content. There's great arguments. There's great drama. There's some really, really, really dumb stuff that happens, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. What a crazy, crazy, wacky place to go. And literally, I mean, if I think about it, I discovered Reddit. I discovered the subreddit shortly after I discovered the site, and was living in California. Had no one to talk to the Lions about. There was Dallas fans. There was Bears fans, and they were all just, the meatheads that you know them to be, right? I was just lonely. I had nobody. It was my wife, my son, and me, and nobody that we knew. No family, nothing. And found the Reddit, and it was there like, a year or two, and then it was like, I want to give something back, and the podcast seemed like something to start and do, and we did, and it's so awesome to see the growth and see it hit 100,000. Congratulations, our Detroit Lions. Hyper Bad, he's the guy that started it. He started it all. Good show, my man. Congratulations. He and I have traded really messages here and there. Really good dude, heart in the right place, wants the right stuff for the subreddit. So good job, man. Congratulations to all you Redditors for your 100,000 subscribers. If you would all go ahead and come over to the YouTube and give us a subscription and a like, we'd appreciate that too. All right. We got that. We got the CBD.Detroit Lions podcast. Don't forget at fanatics.DetroitLionsPodcast.com to get your Lions gear. I've got it right.
You can get your Aleem McNeil number 54 jersey, an unusual jersey for a defensive tackle.
I can't put it over the headset
this week.
the best Lions hat I think ever made. This is my absolute favorite hat. It is so
that the
good.
draft hat this year?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
So
fab.
there were mixed reviews on that. So when Greg Warren and I were in the store in First Energy Stadium, there were some of the draft hats that were like, yeah, those look sharp. Some of them, like the Buffalo one, was like, I don't know about that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it depended on the color scheme there. I wound up not getting a hat. I wound up getting a couple different shirts.
Yep. Thank you, Richard Mulholland, by the way. Thank you very much. It's nice of you to say. Yeah, no, those hats are awesome.
I know that guy. What's up, Richard? I used to play volleyball with him.
Oh, no shite. So there you go. That's the subreddit we talked about. The merch, CBD.Detroit. Let's talk about Penei. This is something we got to talk about. And then we said earlier we're going to talk about something that's a little bit depressing, but it's we'll talk about it. It's not even the headline here, right? But let me get through this, Riz, and then you could just like beat me up. Penei Sewell has the plague. We've all seen the news. It's terrible.
COVID-19.
Yeah. Well, we call it that because YouTube has its weird restrictions. But so he got it. He's a young kid. He's got a really, really, really low risk for long-term, effects. I'm not a doctor, but I don't feel like he's gonna suffer. He seems, he's great shape, young. He's a big guy, right? But he's super healthy. I want people to understand that this could be a heck of a lot worse. Okay, this guy's going to get better. I say that not as a doctor, but it's just all the stats and numbers say he's going to get better and he's going to be fine. He's going to start and everything's going to be fine, right? I remember the Lions and their luck. And if you want to think about how much worse it could be, you just have to remember the name Eric Andelsek. And I bring it up. It's not funny, but I just bring it up as like a sign. Like this is so Lions, but it's just so absolutely horrible. It was the same year that Mike Utley got hurt, right? The same year that we won our playoff game, lost to Washington in the conference championships. He was out mowing his lawn out in front of his house. And a semi-truck took his eyes off the road, swerved off the road, and killed him. And it was our right
He was a guard.
Right guard, yeah.
He was a guard, yeah.
And
or maybe tackle, yeah. Utley was a guard.
We lost him. It's incredible. It was a guard. It's absolutely incredible that this would happen. Especially after a year, you've got Barry, right? You lose Utley, Andelsek. You got as far as we've gotten. We got that playoff win. Everything was in the Lions' favor, and it rolled off. This plague that Penei has, I wouldn't worry about it. It's gonna go away. I'm gonna say that this is a sign, actually, that things are getting better for this team. I'm going to take it that way. I'm not a superstitious guy, but if you're gonna get sick, and you're going to be the draft pick, that's right, number one overall for the team. I'm going to do it now. Before it matters, before they're in camp. Right now's when they're learning the playbook. Now's they're doing some installs coming up here. If it's going to happen, this is the time. He'll be plenty healed when it comes back. So
he will not be at rookie minicamp this weekend. He will not be signing his contract this weekend as a result of it. They do have OTA. Which they're probably not going to wind up having. But their mandatory minicamp is the weekend after Father's Day.
Yep.
So that will be that's over a month from now. Unless something crazy happens, he'll be fine for that.
Yeah, he'll be there. Yeah. He'll have plenty of time then to heal in the end of June and into July, and then we get to training camp. And Riz, are you down for some training camp parties this year?
I will be, because I am no longer on the clock with the Browns and Brownswire, I will be at Lions camp full time this year.
Nice. I am going to try because my new job has said, even though we have a home base that's not near me, I can work from anywhere in the world. That's their thing. So, and boss man's in Ireland, so I think we can work some stuff up where I can get time and do camp and maybe do full time or most time at camp this year. We are doing the party. we are getting back to our training camp party. You guys, you're going to love it. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better than ever. Last time we had Dan Miller. We had Dean Blandino there. It was such a party. It was so fun.
That was great.
It really was. We got that party. We got that going. We got training camp going. We got a lot of stuff between now and then. I think you guys are going to love it. So
it's going to be great. It's going to be a very fun summer.
When other people are making up stories in June, we're going to have a lot of good stuff for you, I promise, in July. All right, with that, we're going to call it a show. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate you. And again, appreciate the likes and those subscribers you guys gave us throughout the show. It means a lot. It really does. It helps us out a lot. Don't forget about us also on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. You get access to the Slack. We've got a Discord that's fired up too. We're working on which one we're going to land on. Each has its own benefits. I don't want to bifurcate the community, but we have a conversation to happen.
Discord doesn't work on my phone, so I'm pro Slack.
Oh, it doesn't? It works on mine. Now I got to get you a phone. All right. So, yeah, check it out at patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast. And as you see under his beautiful face right there, at Jeff Risden. Give him a follow on the Twitter as well. Give us a call via Skype on the Lions line, or Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word, Detroit Lions Podcast, or the Lions line. We also get our messages there, 929-33-LIONS, 929-335-4667. You can get in there, and we'll put your message on the show. Love those calls. And be sure to come to DetroitLionsPodcast.com, subscribe to the podcast, so we can do what, Riz?
We can come into your ears automatically.
And digitally. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems, baby, because we're your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection.